they went great. Be better if we're still playing.
Overriding message to your players?
This should hurt. And I'm not one for predictions because everyone's trying to get in. But this group's ready to hold themselves accountable and push themselves to be playing in this time of year.
How much do you feel that month, when you look back, the month of November, was really sort of the difference for this season?
You can look at every part. In saying that, December and January were exceptional months. But really, when we got real close, that trip out west is probably what put us away. Losing both goalies and going out there with a couple of young guys with the injuries we had, that's probably what put us away. But, you can't look at that. I think you got to look at, as a group, these guys understand every point matters. And I think people say, oh, this is a big game or that's a big game. The 5th game of the year is a big game. It's just the same as the 82nd game is. And if you're consistent and you look at the small, people always say, when I say process, the process is just be better the next day. Give yourself a chance. You look at the teams that are in the playoffs every year, they just do the same things all the time. This team has enough talent to be there. Now it's going to be health and just keep getting better. And as these kids keep getting better, you see the team's going to continue to keep climbing the standings.
Pierre Dorion apparently told the team yesterday that he anticipates being back under new ownership. Do you?
Well, first off, I did hear there were some rumblings of that yesterday. I was in the meeting. That's not what he said. He said he could be back. He's met with the ownership, and he could be back next year, and then what his expectations would be. So I'm not sure where that came from, but that's not what he said. And all I can do is do my job until they tell me I'm not doing my job. My job was to come in here 4 years ago and try and guide a rebuild, which I think we've done well. I think we've done it without jumping the gun, without buying a bunch of free agents and kind of jumping ahead of it. We've allowed the kids to take the steering wheel. That takes longer. But in my opinion, you're going to last longer because the kids do have the wheel.
Both Brady and Tim believe that a lot of the young guys here aren't at the level that they're at now without kind of the influence that you have. You still feel 4 years into it, your message is still kind of conveying you're able to get the most out of the group.
Well, I appreciate that by them. Now my job's to push to get them in the playoffs. If the new ownership deems that I'm the guy to do it, now everything changes. Just guiding young guys is one thing. Pushing them to make the playoffs is a whole, another step. And good thing is I was a part of Toronto when they did it, and I seen, Mitch Marner and Matthews and these guys, and then I seen them take the step. And these guys know what I expect from them. They played important games. They understand what every point means. They understand how to win games. And I believe this group's ready.
Does that change your preparation or message or anything about your role, knowing that going into next year?
My role, if I was back, is to do the most research possible to play the best style that we can play to get in. Do a deep dive into all the teams that have had success over the last, 5-6 years. How much do they practice? How long do they practice? All those things. We have to do that so that we're ultra prepared to give our guys the best chance.
Is that something you were doing in the past, or was it more focusing on the players in the past and getting them up to speed to be able to compete with the best?
Well, yeah. When you're guiding this rebuild, you're making sure their confidence is there. Because if a young guy loses his confidence, there's no way you can keep progressing. So on a daily basis, when Brady was a rookie, or in his second year with me, and Timmy and Norris and these guys, constantly telling them and reassuring them that they're going to be good players is part of it. Now they know they're good players. Now it's reassuring them that they're doing it right and make sure they're doing it right. And we did that more times than not this year. That has to progress.
Evident that the young players grew as individuals on the ice. How did you grow as a coach in the last 4 years?
I think the advantages and disadvantages of coaching in Canada, you can handle anything. I mean, the finger should be pointed at you. You're the coach, but that's not the case in every other city. When you're in Canada, these fans are dialed right in. They love their team, and it has to push you to be better. My job is to get our team to be better, and if I am back next year, my job is to get this team in the playoffs. And these fans deserve that. They've been patient. They came out to the games. They've supported our group. Now it's my job to represent them in the city and get this team to the next level.
Deal with expectations from the outside of the organization?
I learn every day. I learn to grow with the game, change the style of game that we want to play. Is it breakouts? It's this, it's that. You learn how to deal with people. You learn not to take things very serious. No social media. No, try not to listen to the outside noise. All these things. You get better as you get older, and you get better as you have more experience. I've coached 8 years in the NHL. And that allows you to make clear decisions. That allows you to see your goals through. And I'll continue to get better as a coach.
There was a lot made about late January. You had this practice and had like a 20-minute meeting with Giroux on the ice, and the Rinkat said this morning that he was basically listening to what Giroux was saying. Did you feel like Giroux was he lobbying for like more of a puck possession game maybe, and that's what you did later on, play better?
No. I think Claude, right from day one, we had a conversation, and there was a certain style I wanted him to play, and I wanted him to get to the net, and that's what he did. And Claude Giroux scored 35 goals for the first time in his career this year, playing the exact style that I wanted him to play. And, if you look at the style of play, very similar, a lot of the things we do are very similar to Tampa Bay. And they're 2 Stanley Cups and a Stanley Cup final. It's almost the exact systems. There's a few tinkers here and there. So the system of play that we use is the one that puts the cup over your head.
Did the player exceed your expectations, or started the season slow but came on at the end to be a much better player than we thought they would be? Or
Derek Brassard, again, another guy. How many even strength goals did he score? Where did he score them? Plus player. Claude Giroux, 35 goals, plus player. These guys exceeded him. To me, Kostelik at the end really came on. Showed some skating, showed some touch. I thought Clevin was outstanding, coming in. I thought Brandstrom really took a step this year. Outside of the main guys I'm talking. I thought Brandy took a step, plus player. I mean, these are guys that listened and dialed into the details.
What's the summer going to be like for? I mean, congrats on joining Team Canada there for the Worlds, but is there some uneasiness just to say, like, whatever happened with ownership, new bosses coming in?
You know what? I know that I did my best, and I know that I did it for not only the organization and the city, but for the players that are under me. My job is to make them better. I feel I've tried to make some guys better. Whatever happens, happens. If I get an opportunity, I'm going to do my best, and I believe wholeheartedly in this group that we're ready to go to the next level. I think that without injuries, we'd probably be there now. And I hate using that as an excuse, but we just had so many, and it probably got us in the end. I'm going to go to the Worlds, and I'm going to learn. I'm a coach, and that's what I do. And if they tell me I can't coach here, I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I'm 45. I'd like to coach as long as I can coach, and I'll continue to get better.
Further to that, what is it like being named to the Team Canada coaching staff again and knowing you'll be back there with that opportunity to learn again?
Well, we're there for gold. We got silver. I think it's an opportunity for me. It's a heck of an honor for Doug Armstrong and Steve Eisenman to want me to go over there and represent Canada. Any chance you have to represent your country. It's been my 3rd time doing it. I've got a gold and a silver, and you see the style of play over there. You get to see that there's other players in other countries that can play in our league. To me, I'm excited to go back. I'm going to take a little breather here. I'm going to go home for a week or 2, but then I'm gone again, and then I'll try and turn my mind off. But whatever happens, happens. All you can do is control what's in front of you.
Was your strongest blue line, especially as the season progressed? if you're back next year, how do you feel about having that depth on the blue line for the first time really ever for you?
Well, the thing that I'm most excited about, and if you take a deep dive into our chances against, it's the first time since I've been here we've had a real shutdown pair with Sanderson and Zug, that are just truly defenders. Sandy obviously has offense, but he's a true defender. And look at our goals, our expected goals against since those two were put together. It makes it hard, and our home ice record got significantly better. The top lines can't come in and just run you out of town. Those guys can do it. And I think with the addition of Norris coming back to play against those guys with that group, all of a sudden your home record should be significantly better. You look at our home and road record, that has to get better. You got to be 500 on the road. I think at home that shutdown pair helped us.
You believe that Sogard is short enough to be the goalie of the future, where he's ready to be the goalie of the present as far as the next year?
He is the goalie of the future. He got forced into too many games with the injuries to two veterans. He had great games, he had okay games, he had bad games. He's a kid. He's going to be a good goalie for a long time. And when you see his best game, you realize as he gets older, he's going to give you more of those games. Instead of 2 in a row, he's going to give you 5 in a row. And that's how you become a 924, 930 goalie.
So, and this is not your department, but if you're back, is that an area that you need to shore up or settle? I mean, you're 7 this year. That's highly.
Well, the injuries between that and Belleville's outrageous. I think 17 goalies or something. But that's Pierre's job. My job is to coach the team. But clearly that was that position. It wasn't a great year. All in all, our overall save percentage, expected goals, that has to be better for sure. And that's something that'll be, we'll certainly look at.